Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi Showbie with me, Richard Vobes, from the back room in my terraced house at the foot of the South Downs at the edge of the English Channel. It's the 22nd of May 2020. It's 8 p.m. as we go live. If you're watching this after the event, clearly it is another time. And I can't help that. If I only could give you the time check for every moment that you logged on, the best thing is to look at your watch. If you don't have a watch, check your phone. It's nice to see you. We are here at the end of another week. It's Friday, and this is the last of the Vobe shows that is consecutive every single day. We're now going from Monday, Wednesday and Thursday, Monday, Wednesday and Friday even next week, just to give me a couple of nights off to chase my tail, so to speak. That's the plan, but if we get another surge in the old coronavirus, or an asteroid hits us, or there's some other catastrophe which keeps us in, perhaps the Triffids have been let loose and we cannot go out, or the Daleks are strolling, I don't think they stroll, do they, gliding down the streets, then of course I will come back and keep you entertained. But you're all big people now, and I'm sure that you can manage to survive a couple of days without me in the week. Let's find out who is in the Vobosphere and being very nice to each and other. Let's go and check. Let's see. We've got the lovely Julia out there. I know that because I saw her ping in. Hello, Julia. Nice to see you. We also have Audrey Forbes Hamilton. We have Ernie and Steve G. We have Jen Allotment, and we have Roy Ballinger. I hope you're feeling better, says Jen. Yes, thank you very much. I was just very knackered yesterday. I was a bit tired earlier, but I have got my magic water. Very delicious. Straight out the tap. You should try it. They've got this newfangled system where they put these pipes in the ground, lovely lead pipes, and they filter water through them so that the lead goes straight into your brain. I used to have a felt hat that the Mad Hatters used to do, but I can get my lead poisoning more directly these days. Mike Stevens is there, Ron Langley, Tracy Murphy, floating our boat. Hello, Vobesy fans. Hello, floating your boat. To be honest, I don't know if you've released a video today because, or yesterday, whenever it is you do them. I haven't seen it, and I feel dreadful now because there you are. And I haven't looked at your latest escapades. I must improve my viewing thing. No, I've been actually just doing some research just prior to the show, and my brain is buzzing with other ideas. But I promise, I will get to it. Barry Stevens is there. Days of Yore, hello to you. Lovely Linda Kane. Of course, we've got Mike Dixon and Bella. I've just come back from a walk to see Benfield Barn. Never seen it before. Well done, good man. Sean James Cameron, in fact, is there. He says, I've actually got popcorn. Good gracious. Popcorn, get your popcorn here. Popcorn. Of course, when the old Berkesway joke of when the Pope came over. Do you remember when the Pope came over to England and everyone was celebrating? You could get your popcorn, get your popcorn here, lovely popcorn. And lollipopes, I think, were all the rage at the same time. Not sure you can get the lollipop at the moment. Anyway, Robert Croser, speaking of Daleks, he's turned up doing the thing. Robert Croser, I'm here, Robert Croser, from Cumberland. Jen's Allotment says, will you be doing a lot of live reading if we're banned from leaving the house? Yes, of course, I should do as much live. I'm not going to do any dead reading. I've tried doing dead reading. I've tried doing it deadpan. Doesn't work either. Rainy Philadelphia says, hello to Barbara Charles. Mystic Hair says, he's not here. I wonder where he is then. We'll have to pull him out of a hat. Lee Roberts from Eastbourne. Nice to see you from the Bourne of the East. Ed Ovett, President Trump, 1 hour ago, ordered all US churches to open immediately as essential. I think he's doing interesting work, old President Trump. Isn't he the one that is now taking heterochloroquine or whatever it is? What is that chemical that that's used for malaria, that he said that he was taking personally and everybody laughed at him? And isn't that now what they're giving the key workers? in the at the hospitals. I don't know if that's in England or in America, but now the key workers are being given it as a precaution. Yet Mr. Trump was ahead of the curve. Yeah, everybody laughed at him when he did that. It's very odd, isn't it? It's an interesting fella. Whether you like him or don't like him, he's an interesting fella. Mike Stevens says, let's hope they open here too. That would be nice. I must go in. Just think how musty they're going to be. They must be even more musty than they were before. Josephine Suter is it salty or sweet popcorn? Ah, yes. I'm a salty man myself. I'm not keen on the honey glazed popcorn. That's all a bit sort of sickly. Give me a nice bit of salt. That would be lovely for me. Pope on a rope, apparently. You can get Pope on a rope, or you can put the Pope on a rope. Let's not go down there. Hydroxychloroquine. There we go. That's some of that. Floating Our Boat says that's okay. There isn't a new one yet. Ah, that's probably why, because normally I get a little ping. Oh, there it goes. I normally get a little ping and it tells me you've got a video, and immediately I try and get to watch it, But that's probably why I've not seen it. Michael Angel says, I love Trump. Yes, because it works, says Mike Stevens. That's interesting. It's MEK, says Turbo Stream. Don't, whatever you do, inject or digest MEK. Oh my God. Back in the old printing days, we had this conversation, and I think Adrian and I had a sort of reminiscence about MEK, which I can't remember what that stands for, but that was used to clean down the old printing press with that. Oh my God. Whatever you... I mean, yes, it will kill coronavirus stone dead in its tracks. Probably the fumes would be enough to do that. But you may not be a living person yourself if you were to ingest MEK. It is like cracking a nut with a steamroller, I think. Lee Roberts says, OK, Ron, I'm in Willingdon. Connor says, I won't be taking it if asked to. You don't have to do whatever you don't want to do, I don't think. Mystic Hare says, I trump a lot. I don't want to know about your personal habits, thank you. Mixed popcorn is best, says Graham Roffey. I suppose, diversity is everything in the world of popcorn. Methyl ethyl ketone, MEK. Lovely. What ho, Vobsters, says Andrew Norris from Croatia. And TurboStream says it kills all known life. Yes, in fact, if H.G. Wells had known about it, instead of firing a death ray when the tripods were walking about the countryside, the Martians, they would have just squirted MEK at everybody. That would have been quite sufficient. You could probably wipe out all of life with MEK. It is pretty grim. Sometimes they put formaldehyde in vaccines. Yes, I heard that the other day. That is quite strange, isn't it? Elfwold says, I worked in a printer's once. Is that the stuff they made you feel funny if you sniffed it? Yeah, probably. When I was in there, you used to clean the litho printer down with MEK. Liberally you would store it in, and my goodness, it would make you a bit high, and you would clean the rollers, get all the black ink out at the end of each day. It was lethal stuff. And then of course I suffered from the developer stuff on the bromides, yellowing of my fingers. We mentioned that last time. Mike Dixon says Donald Trump's poll rating has gone up 6% to an all-time high of 49. That's pretty good. And I just heard that he'd taken this stuff, not MEK, the other stuff, and everyone had laughed and said, oh, what a twat, sort of thing. But it turns out that they're now giving it to the key workers in the front line as a precaution against catching the virus. So it is interesting. I just find it interesting, that every time they try and knock him over, he sort of bounces back. It's just fascinating. I'm glad I don't live in America, I have to say, but it's so interesting looking from the shores of the UK, as I'm sure it's just as interesting being in America, looking at the shores of the UK and thinking, what strange people those Brits are. Yeah. But he's improved the economy, Robert. Robert, crazy-haired loon is Trump. But as Andrew Norris says, he has improved the economy and he wants to improve the economy. And do you know what? I think he'll get in again. I really do. The MSM say anything against the mainstream media, or do we call them the lamestream media? Linda Kane says, as an experiment, I think. I'm not quite sure what the experiment was. But anyway, welcome to the show. Nice to see you. Nice. The founder of the Clapping for Carers wants the clapping to stop next Thursday, says Ron Langley, because it will be the 10th week and then it's had its moment, and make it an annual event also. What do you mean? And make it an annual event, so that in a year's time we clap. The founder. Who was the founder? I'd like to know who the founder was. I'd give him a clap, certainly. So there we go. I shouldn't have mentioned Trump because I didn't want to go down that road, because it's a divisive topic, and I don't want to upset too many people. Sorry, something floating about in my mouth. I think it was my tongue or my teeth, one of the thing. Val Williamson has arrived. So there we are. We are in safe company. Good old Val. Thank you very much for coming by. Jeff Kellison says, I haven't heard Boris Johnson advocating drinking bleach lately, so I think we have it slightly worse. Well, you never know. I don't know whether Boris uses peroxide in his hair, but maybe he does ingest some of that. We just don't know. The Anglo-Saxon travelling duo, duo, there's no R in it. There's no R in it. You see the R numbers down. Oh, dear. Trump sorted out the comedy, brought crime right down, played a major part in peace with North Korea. If Obama had did that, he'd have been given a Nobel Peace Prize. I don't hate Trump because I don't watch media. Exactly. Well, there we go. Barry Stevens was on the wrong account again. Doesn't matter. We worked out who you were. Anglo-Saxon. Lovely to see you. Lovely. Anyway, let's leave all the politics behind. I only mention it because I just thought that about the tranquilizer. Well, not tranquilizer. The malaria stuff. I only just thought I'd mention it because I'd heard that and I thought, that's interesting. So, hope you are well. Now, Barry, as you're there, yes, I've got Donington Tower and we've got it all lined up, ready to show. We've also got a Robert Croser production, and we have 3 others that have come in today, which is very nice. So we've got all of that. The phone lines are well and truly open for business. You can give us a call on 0793 47 46790. And I will be only too delighted to talk to you about all topics that you care to raise, as long as they're clean and they're not going to take us down into a pit of hell. I do that on a regular basis, so you don't need to. So Val says, let's not do politics. Nice jumper. Thank you very much. Kevin bought me a jumper the other day, actually, and I did wear it, but Kevin wasn't there. He says he was there, but he wasn't there. I don't know if Kevin's there tonight. I think he sort of watches from afar and sort of goes, are they mentioning anything that I'm not interested in or upsets me? If not, I won't comment. But I did wear his jumper the other night that he sent me, but it was a shame because he didn't turn up, but I didn't play the plank in, apparently. A Robert production. Great, says Andrew Norris. To be honest with you, I don't know whether I've got the right one in the right order, because Robert doesn't sort of name anything. I just get this weird, long, complicated number, which has no meaning or anything and doesn't relate to the next one that he sends in. So I have no idea. It would be nice if people could actually name the file. Even better if they put their name in the file, because when I've downloaded it, I get this list, and I'm not complaining too much. It's just, it's like, well, who the hell is this from? What is this? I don't know. It's VX41137490671. And you think, I don't know what that means. What is that? .mp4. That bit I can work out. So that would be good. You should have Where's Kevin on your next sweatshirt. That's true. We better get a Where's Kevin. And is he watching? Is he alive? I know that he was working today. Yesterday he had the excuse that he'd gone on a 9-mile hike thinking that he was going on 6 miles, but turned out it was 9 miles. He's probably had a massive heart attack and is lying there quivering somewhere. Maybe his beard is twitching. But he'd had to go to work today, so that might have been a shocker to see another different 4 walls to be painted. That might have been a bit of bare walls. Oh, walls. I mean, he may have got a bit overexcited at that. I could go painting. And of course, the lovely Jeff has sent him some special magic brushes, which fell off the back of a lorry somewhere and was directed down to Midhurst in Sussex. So that was rather handy. Robert says, I sent a message as part 123. Yeah, but by the time I've downloaded it, I still get it's the file name that needs to have that in. Because whatever you put on WeTransfer, basically, it's in the email. But when I go to WeTransfer to download it, it's gone. I don't see it, you see. So it would just be handy when you record the file, just name the file, whatever it is, walking along the beach, whatever. That would just be very helpful. That's all I'm saying. It's not a lot to ask, hopefully. But I appreciate you sending it. That's what I'm also saying. You should... I read that. How's the weather been down south? It's been blowing a gale up north all day, says Andy Kendrick. Glad to get the subject of the weather up in the show because it is critical. Yes, we had a windy day today. I was not very happy. I was over in Hangleton this morning at 7:30. Got myself over there, having sorted out a number of other issues. Got over there. It was dull and it was windy. And I was supposed to be matching shots to the stuff that I'd filmed yesterday in this beautiful, glorious day. Wasn't going to happen. Wasn't going to match. So I came home, tail between my legs. And I thought, what am I going to do? So I've actually edited what I shot yesterday, into, instead of making this new fangled long format video that I was going to do, I realised that's not actually going to be as easy as I thought. Because I still have to constantly make videos because I live on a treadmill. So tomorrow's video is another 10-minute video. It's just another bit of old nonsense that I normally do, I'm sorry to say. But anyway, I bet you'll enjoy it. It's nicely put together. Michael says, I'd rather be a runner than a jumper. I'd rather be a runner than a jumper. Yes, I would. I really would. Oh, yes, I would. I really would. Oh, yes, I really would. I'm so convinced I would. I'm bloody sure I would. I think I am definitely gonna be in the affirmative on that. Oh, yes, I do. I really think that's true. Oh, it is. That's what I would. That song is an annoying song, isn't it? I'd rather be a fish than be a cat. No, I wouldn't. Not a bit of it. I can't think anything worse than being a fish than a cat. I don't know why I said it. I really don't want to be a fish or even a cat. I'd rather not sing this song anymore. No, well, don't then. Okay, thanks. So I'd rather be a runner than a jumper. You would have to get in touch with Mr. Suggett for runners. Yeah, especially beans. Turbo says, duly noted, refile naming Richard. No, Turbo, yes, no, that appreciated that. To anybody who sends them in, that's great. I have to say, Andrew Norris makes his incredibly clear and very easy. Not only that, Andrew Norris encodes them in 720p, which makes very nice. A lot of you are doing that now. Thank you very much. It makes it so much easier. So much easier and it guarantees to get them shown. That's the other thing. Wendy Lowry, very windy day in the Midlands. Wendy Lowry, we have a special from your hubby. Oh my goodness, people are going to be very interested in if I was to mention the word Frank Richards, would that mean anything to you? There's going to be a lot of people there scratching their heads going, Frank Richards? Was he a footballer? No, he's not a footballer. Nothing wrong with the 10-minute videos, Richard, says Ron Langley. Thank you very much. Well, this one hopefully will leave you wanting more. And actually it's spiraled off new ideas. So watch this space is all I'm going to say. Musical Hair says Simon and Garfunkel. Was that Simon? Yes, it's an annoying song and now stuck in my brain. I'd rather be a bat. I don't know what the real words are. What are the real words? I'd rather be a something than a this. Yes, I would. I really would. No, it's so annoying. El Condo Parser. Oh, is it? I'd rather be an El Condo passer. Yet what the hell is an El Condo passer when it happens? Dave Ford says, this happens to me a lot. Still shots done on recce working, glorious sunshine on day 1, followed by overcast day for filming on day 2. Folk don't seem to mind, though. Yes, they don't. They don't seem to mind, and I'm sure I could put it in and nobody gives a toss. Except me. Except me. I give a toss. That's the difference. I do give a toss because it's important to me that it's done right. You see, now, other people, like yourself, Dave, it's a great hobby and you're doing very well, and I commend you to keep going, and I think it's brilliant that you're doing it. But to me, it's a profession, it's a skill, it's a craft, it's something that is part of me. I have been making videos or Super 8 films and stuff since I was a kid. It's a passion that's been with me all my life, and I've picked up hints and tips and knowledge and all of that. And so it is important to me. And filmmaking is very much about compromise, but there's compromise and there's just not bothering. And to me, to get it right is the key thing. And it may be that it is just YouTube and nobody seems to mind and it doesn't matter, and that's fine. And a lot of my stuff is like that. But on certain things, I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it so I want it to be right. I want to just remind myself I can do it. So I'm sort of proving it. I don't care what other people think, because there are people who say to me, "Oh, Richard, I don't like it. It's all out on the tripod stuff now. It's too formal. Don't like. I'm much like the raw, rough and wobbly stuff where you can't hear it and the wind is blowing and you can't see it and the camera is shaking up and down like this as if you're on a bloody top end of a mast going across the deserts of the Wearial Storms, whatever it is. I'd rather watch a shaky vid than a good one. Yes, I would. But I don't care, because people can do whatever they damn well like. But for me, I want to do it in a certain way. So it is important to me. So, whether folk don't mind, that's not the thing, because another way of looking at that is you look at television, people will go and look at the most common denominator, won't they? And we know that by the crap that goes out on mainstream media, that folk will watch any old trash. They really will. So I'm not having a... Please don't take this personally, anybody. I'm just explaining, it's my passion. It's my passion. It's my profession and my passion. And it's what I spend my life doing. And that's why I do it every single day. And it's the reason I'm on the earth. When I'm gone, people will probably forget all about me. But whilst I'm on this earth, this is for me, it's so important. It's just, it is a religion. It's like the medieval people's religion, that you just think this is the and of course people can laugh at that. But then there are other people for what climbing is their life. They'll climb with their fingers in chalky dust and they'll clamber up buildings or whatever, and they won't have any safety nets or ropes or string or wire or comedy jelly or anything. And that is their passion. If they fall off the mountain and die, they'd be happy if that's the way they go. So for some people, that's the way it is. And I do try, everyone, but I know at the same time, this is where the, what did I call it earlier? The word I've just now forgotten, which is about letting things go when you have to. Compromise. You do. I mean, you can never hit professional. You can never hit perfect. And it's pointless to say, I'm not going to release this until it's perfect. Of course, you could never do that. But, big hairy butt with horrible hanging skin, there comes a point where you go, okay, I can do no better than this. It has to go, and I'm not happy with it, but it's out there. And then everybody else doesn't notice those compromises. I know that. I get that. Dave's going, I wish I hadn't said anything. Blimey, I wasn't expecting to start him off on a rant. No, it's all right, Dave. It's all right. I'm just saying that's where, some people are here and some people are there, and it doesn't matter. And, we're all we're all, you know, a lot of people just make videos because they enjoy it, and that's great. Unfortunately for me, I enjoy it, but it's an obsession. It's beyond realistic. It's. And the thing is that there was a period where I couldn't achieve, and I've hit like the zone, or the wall, I suppose. You hit a wall and you go, I can't seem to get over this boundary. And I stopped one time when I was working with Super 8 because I just couldn't get audio and sound to sync up. It just seemed impossible when it was all very amateurish stuff and the gear wasn't there. And I stopped and went off into entertainment and juggling and unicycling and fire eating and mime and did acting and various other things. And then suddenly I got back into video and there was all this on tape, and it was dreadful. On tape, mucking about with tape, 3 machine edits and all this. But when it went digital, it was like the red rag to a bull. It was like, yes, finally, this is easy to do now. Makes sense. It's not so tricky, and you can excel. And then you just get to other, you know, all the time there are these walls and I got to another point where I was trying to break into television, and I had my children's series, and then and so I stopped, wrote some children's books, did something completely different. And then I realised that was a bloody waste of time. So I went back and suddenly, boom, and now I'm running at full pelt with this, and I love it. So anyway, thank you for that, Dave. Good man. How's your dogs, by the way? So there we are. The song is now considered the best national anthem of Peru. Not, I'd rather... Did we actually find out what the lyrics were supposed to be? There was a planning application to turn the Benfield barn into a pub and a restaurant, but thankfully that's turned it down. No, now it's football press. Paul Simon ripped that song off from a folk song, and it is really annoying, as he did with Scarborough Fair. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? No, I'm not, mate. Oh, all right then. Thanks. I love the songs that you can do that to. Pardon me, boy, is this the Chattanooga choo-choo? No, it left 10 minutes ago, mate. Oh, right, okay. You can stop those songs straight dead by just saying, no, it isn't. I love those songs. Can you think of any other songs where it's a question at the beginning and you can just go, boomf, no, I don't want it, thank you. I love those songs. Do you have a box brownie, says Sean. No, I did have when I was a kid. I had a little box brownie, and I think actually got pictures of it, but I'd rather be a hammer than a nail. No, I wouldn't be a hammer than a nail. What, because you're being bashed on the head, I suppose. But let's face it, they're both made out of iron, aren't they? They're both made out of iron. As an ex-TV person myself, says Sean Cameron, I see no difference with production values between TV or YouTube. Well, what do you mean by that? How do you mean by that? Because there's some people on YouTube are just as good as television stuff, but there's some people on YouTube who are just remotely nowhere near. You know, I mean, you know, rank amateurs with wind noise and shaky camera and no composition skills, no, you know, but you absolutely with the amateur gear. You can do, you know, television stuff, absolutely. But if I'm not quite sure what you mean, but I think I know what you mean, but I need 100% clarification. 100%. I love the quality of the new films, says Michael Angel. Do you mean my films or new films in general? Andrew Norris says, me too. Who's calling in then, folks, says Julia. Worried that I'm just babbling. We'll put a video on in a minute. Dean Cooper says, hello, Richard. And the viewers, Ed Ovet says the song's now considered the national anthem of Peru. Blimey, can you imagine? The national anthem of Peru. Well, I'd rather be a hammer than a nail. And you think of all those amazing old ancient buildings in Peru and is it the Naztec lines? And they'd rather be a hammer than a nail? Can't you think that, I mean, I'd rather be a slab of oolite limestone. Elliptic lime. I'd rather be a lump of elliptic limestone than a mound of mud. Yes, I would. I really would. That's one for the Cotswolds, that one, really. Jen's Allotment says, I've learnt so much about my hometown since following you, Richard. Hoping to come back and stay in Shoreham next year. Fingers crossed. I've got some Shoreham videos coming up, actually. Not sure when, but I sure am going to be making them. Blimey. Yeah, so on a rant. Let's get down to business. Sparrow and a snail, says Wendy Lowry. Thanks, Robert, for looking into yours. Isn't it? Are you going to San Francisco? Who did the? Was it? It was Mike Yarwood. Didn't Mike Yarwood do the? I left my heart in San Francisco. Didn't he do that gag? Wasn't that Mike Yarwood as whoever sung that song? Was that Frankie? Who was the one with the mafia? Frankie in the films. Whoever it was, I'm sure it was Mike Yarwood. I always remember that. Left my heart in San Francisco. Plum just keels over. It's just so funny. It's just. All right, so you're not laughing. You're looking at me like I'm completely mad. I get it. You're right. I told you. It's the lead, you see. It's the lead pipes. Michael says, your film... Oh, the Nazca lines. Oh, yes, the Nazca lines. That's right. My dad he loved those sort of things, the Nazca lines. Neighbours song. Oh, Neighbours. Neighbours. Everybody's got nosy neighbours. Some of them are reporting on you if you go out during the Corbid? Nearly went for Corbyn then. Nearly went from Covid-19 to Corbyn-19. That's quite... Frank Sinatra, did he do the Floating Our Boat, Tommy Cooper? Tommy, not like that. I used to like empty... What did he say? Empty jug. What was it? I used to love Tommy Cooper. Oh dear. Frank Skinner. No, Frank. There wasn't Frank Skinner. He did the Three Lions, didn't he? The Three Lions. Can you explain how 3 video editing works? Yes, but really, it's quite boring. So you go out and you film in the old days on tape, VHS or Hi8 or Betamax, Betacam, what the pros use, and all the various different things. So you'd film on a master tape. So it's on tape. You know what it's like if you record on a tape recorder audio. So you've got a song and you've got a record, right? Like, let's even strip it right back. You go and get a vinyl. In the old days, you get a vinyl record and you think, I'll make up a tape with it. I'll record it on tape. So you get the record, you put the needle on, it's going round. I'm just showing because there's some younger listeners out there. And you've got it going at, say, 45 if it's a single, 33 if it's a big album, or a 78 if it's an old if it's a 78. But what was that on? Not shellac. Was it on shellac? What was the 78 material made of? Anyway, it doesn't matter. And you record it onto tape, so you've got a copy on tape. Then you think, I'll send that to my friend. So you put it on a friend's tape. But you lose a bit of sound. You get a generation loss, they call it. So in the film editing, in the video editing world with 3 machine edits, you would have your master that you filmed on your camera. That would be the master. Okay, and you want to have that would be your footage. That's your footage. It's not your master, it's your footage. It's your raw footage. It's going to be the best quality that videotape will be, because it's the first generation, okay? So you would have 3 machines to edit on. You'd have camera 1's footage, camera 2 or more of camera 1's footage on a separate spool in another tape machine. So you've got a tape machine here and a tape machine here. And then the third tape machine is what these two are going to put their version on, so that you actually only take one copy from the master. from the raw footage. So you only have one generation loss. So you've got a shot over on this camera, you've got a shot over here, you're going to cut them together to make it into a seamless thing. Then you end up with your master tape. Then when you distribute that and send out copies, you'd have another generation loss because you're having a generation loss from that. So the best you would get really is a second generation loss. And all the time you're losing a bit of picture quality. But with digital, you can avoid all of that. You see, that's what makes. Anyway, you didn't want to know that. I just spoon, jar, spoon. Thank you. Yes, there we are. Bottle, cup, bottle. I loved all that. Oh, Peter K. Amarillo. Is this the way to Amarillo? Shellac. Wasn't that the Merchant of Venice? It could well have been. Love that word, shellac. Yeah. We've got a call. Someone's shutting me up at long last. Somebody. Thank you so much. Gosh, I was floundering like a haddock. Hello.
Why do you think we're here? Hello, Mr. Richard. It's Fran.
Fran!
Here.
Thank you so much for calling in and saving me from myself.
Well, I just had to do a quick search
Yes.
on YouTube for Tommy Cooper and San Francisco. And Richard, as in floating the boat, Richard, was right. It was Tommy Cooper that faked his heart attack, having left his heart in San Francisco.
Oh, it was Tommy Cooper then, not Mike Yarwood. Isn't it funny how the brain works, isn't it?
Well, it's funny how some people's brains work, yeah.
I don't know what you mean by that remark. Dear, oh dear. So, yeah, Tommy Cooper, and of course, he actually died live on stage in real life, and I watched that.
I know.
That was
tragic. Did you?
Yeah, I saw it.
I went to see Tommy Cooper at Walthamstow Town Hall many years ago when I was about 18.
Oh, I bet that was so funny.
It was. It was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh, God, I would love to see.
The clip that I've just watched there when he did San Francisco, he was really young when he did that. Really young.
Really young.
So, yeah. But obviously, it's a shame what happened in the end, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, but what a career. I know. You know, what a man. He could just make you laugh. I mean, he's making me laugh now thinking about him.
I could see you on there doing your bottle glass bit, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, Richard, I've got impressions going on in the background here.
Oh, loved it. It was so funny. It was just it was just something about. I mean, he looked funny. He was funny, but I think he did suffer from that because nobody could take him seriously. And of course, you know, he couldn't have a proper business meeting with anybody because it's like,
oh no,
you could just have to slightly laugh and they're already cracked up.
I know. But isn't it the same with many of these people? Many of these very talented, very clever-witted people.
Yes.
It's the same as many, like yourself.
Well, I don't know about that, but yes, I mean, a lot of them are. I think, you know, because they're on the borderline, aren't they? A lot of them.
Yeah, I know.
And I think it is because...
Yeah, we were just watching a programme today about, and I've forgotten his name, which is going to tell me what programme was we watching today. Comedian Tony...
Hancock.
Slattery.
Oh, Tony Slattery.
Do you remember Tony Slattery? Used to do improvisation shows back in probably the 80s,
in the
90s.
80s. Yes, I did.
And then disappeared completely.
Yes.
Just disappeared overnight. And he's another one that's had a really tortured life over various things, and I won't go into it, but we watched a programme today, and a really sad story again, but was a very, very brilliant person. And I think part of Footlights group with Stephen Fry and such people, but many of them obviously were, as you say, were tormented people, weren't they?
Yes. Oh, and part of that I think is what made them funny, because they had this wealth of experience, I suppose, to call on to sort of twist the comedy out of it. I think you know, a lot of those people who've had torment could go to depths and turn it about face. and make things
Yeah.
funny, even if you
Yeah.
didn't know. I mean, I know a lot of stand-ups do that. You know, if a stand-up's had a nice middle class life, you know, they're not as funny as the ones that have had
No,
their arms hacked off by a shark in the Mediterranean or something.
it's like a defence mechanism in a way to try and find the funny side of things and
Yeah.
get round it, I guess. I don't know.
Some sort of survival instinct.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they know that they can make people laugh, you know, that's something to hang on to, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I make people laugh, but I don't ever mean to. It's just because... Yeah, and we haven't put a video up today, Richard, or yesterday. We're being a bit slack. So don't beat yourself up too much about watching it because it's not there.
It's not there. Oh, see. Now, I could have lied, couldn't I? Imagine the shame face if I'd said, oh, I loved your recent video. It's brilliant. I love it. You know, going in on your canal boat and just sort of, you had a bit of drone footage. I'm sure there was, maybe I didn't see it, but it was great. And then you go, yeah, we didn't do one, mate.
Lesson to be learned, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Never lie. So what you say you've been slacking? What have you've had a whole week to knock out a video?
But it's production values, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Oh, of course, yes. I mean, that's right. You've got a lovely canal boat. I mean, you don't have to do anything. I don't know why we haven't got another one. It's there, but Richard almost had it ready to go yesterday. But it's not like you're saying he wasn't happy with it. Yeah.
So I think we've got to do a few more tweaks tomorrow morning, and I've got to put my posh frock on again and do a little bit more filming.
Oh,
and,
well done.
Maybe tomorrow.
I watched a back one the other night where I don't know how long ago it was now. It just, you know, like when they come up and you go, oh, do you know? I don't think I've seen that one. And it was the one with where your weed hatch and you were going off to get that welded. And
oh yeah,
I
remember that day.
And you're going along, and
yes.
And of course I'm thinking, any minute now, we're gonna get glug glug glug.
We were going so that was on the run up to Birmingham, I believe, and we were just going almost backwards. It was a worrying time, that was.
Oh.
We were almost at the point of having to get in the water and push the boat along, I think, at that point.
I mean, now that you've been doing it over 2 years, is it 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, over 2 years, yeah.
And now that you're, you know, is there anything that could happen that would faze you? Because when you first start, it's all a great adventure, and then you start to work out, actually, whilst this is a great adventure, what if that goes wrong, and what if weed, you know?
I mean, there's still stuff. The weed hatch is a scary one because if that fails, you sink in seconds. I mean, you really do go down very, very quickly. I don't know so much as because the canals are actually quite shallow. You always have at the back of your mind, well, you know, we're unlikely to drown unless we're stuck in the boat. The boat would go down, but it's not going to go far. But it's still locks. There are still situations that you can get the boat stuck in a lock, and it can get caught at the back edge of a lock if you're not careful, and it can also go down very, very quickly. And so we have had some times in locks. Yeah, I think there's still times in locks where you can get phased. It's, you know, it's all like part of the fun, though,
what's the overall opinion? Now, and be honest here, now that you are, you know, 2 years down the line or on the canal, against people who go on for a week or so on a whole season's holiday. Is there a sort of them and us type thing?
Yeah, not from us. We love it, obviously, but I'm afraid there is, and it goes both ways a little bit. You do get some holiday boaters that are not polite on the canals. They don't follow the speed restrictions. If a boat goes past us quickly and we're moored, the whole boat does shake around.
Oh,
it can be quite a problem. And people don't realise that.
Yeah, we were moored up somewhere last year, and Julia was feeding the baby, and some idiot went past at I don't know what he went past at, but it wasn't 4 miles an hour, or he was going really fast. And Julia got up. I've never seen her move so swiftly. I think she threw the baby at me and leapt up and screamed at this person,
Yeah.
and he was just a long-haired layer. Now, nothing against people with long hair, I suppose I should say, being bald myself, but he was like, what? And he just treated Julia as if she was some I don't know, some water tramp or something.
I
And
know.
it was
I
quite,
know.
and we also passed lads on the boat who had no idea about a lock, and they were just there for a booze
You
cruise.
do get that. I mean, you do get. I've got to say that at the moment there are no hire boats out, but we have still sat here today, and the number of boats that have gone past us super fast. And I don't want to get into the ageist arguments, but it's been the older boats and people that have been sitting in their marinas that have suddenly been given freedom that are whizzing past.
Yes.
It's not holiday boaters. And we've had some lovely experience with holiday boaters. They went past us, a big party went past us last year. In the evening, it was getting quite late, and the driver wasn't drunk. They were all having a good old drink. I went and opened the lock for them. And I said, but it's going to cost you. We need some wine. And they were pouring us wine at the lock. And it was lovely. There will be people that will grumble about that. You shouldn't be drinking. But on the whole, there's not a problem. There will always be an us and them situation. But,
Yes.
I'm afraid that's how it is. But really, there's not a problem with holiday boaters. It's all part of the fun.
No, and a lot of them.
It's,
I mean, a lot of them are the ones who can't possibly afford to buy a boat, but do it regularly.
Exactly.
They do it year in, year out because they love it.
Exactly.
So I guess there's like anything. There's always grumpy people in whichever camp you happen to be in.
Yeah, I know.
Brilliant.
I know.
Well, we look forward.
Anyway, thank you very much. But I just wanted to clarify the Tommy Cooper bit
Yes,
for you.
I should go and see if I can find that on. Did you find it on YouTube?
Yes, it's on YouTube.
I'm going to go and find that later on then. Brilliant.
And we're looking forward to some videos now. So. And we're going to send you one. And we're at a place called. We're going up in the next few days for a walk up a place called White Nancy.
White Nancy.
Yeah, which is quite an interesting little hill. And we're really hoping to get up there in the next few days. So we'll try and do a nice little walking video if we can get up there for you. It's something a little bit different.
Oh, brilliant! And the locks. Some of the locks are opening if it's run by the lock keepers. Is that right?
No, the locks, the canal is all more or less open, I think, as from next week, more or less open. Unfortunately, the little bit that we're on is short of water, and the locks behind us and ahead of us are closed, so we're still stuck.
Oh.
But we're in a lovely place.
Oh, well, that's the main thing.
We're fine, that's okay.
You always find great places to moor up.
Yes. Fantastic. Yeah, we're in a lovely spot at the moment. So, yeah, we'll try and get up White Nancy if anybody knows about it. It's a beautiful little spot. And we'll send you some
Henry David Allen from Henry's Adventures has just said, I've been to White Nancy, lovely place.
Oh, it is. It is fantastic, yeah.
Oh, superb. Great, lovely to talk to you, Fran. Love to Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
Take care.
You.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So there we go. I was wrong. It was Tommy Cooper in the end. But, it was from that era. Lovely to talk to Fran there and good old Rich. And good job I didn't say I'd seen your latest video, because clearly I would have been making that up. As if I would. As if an untruth would pass my lips, ladies and gentlemen. Heaven forbid. So we're in the... we better get to... Oh, hello. We've got another call. Let's go to the call. Calls do take preference, ladies and gentlemen. Hello to the caller.
Hello, this is London calling.
Hello, London calling. Worthing here.
Otherwise known as Sean James Cameron.
Ah, Sean James Cameron in London. How are you?
I'm in the shadow of the Crystal Palace.
Oh, are you? How much of the Crystal Palace is still standing? Well,
not much, because they want to put houses there.
Oh, do they? I think of what they're going to build on that the remaining bit of the Crystal Palace that was the Crystal Palace.
Yes, there's been quite a few plans to put the Crystal Palace back there. There was a plan that the RHS were going to move in and do a show there, but all the money has failed because one of the problems is Crystal Palace is owned by 4 local authorities that all come together in the middle of the palace.
Oh, that's
So
yeah.
houses are the latest.
Oh, right. All by committee then. Oh dear.
But
Anyway,
yes, my comments about
yes.
TV.
Please.
As somebody who has worked in TV, I find sometimes that if you put a video up and people know that you work in TV, sometimes they tend to judge you by what you put up online.
Yes.
They don't seem to understand that a production for YouTube is a completely different beast.
Absolutely.
In the regard that sometimes people like a shot to stay on something for a bit longer than 4 seconds.
Yeah. Well, yes.
But
I mean,
it's rather strange because I don't know if you've had this, but I'll put a video together, spend a few days, put in all of the music on, the fancy words and everything, and it'll get a few thousand hits. But then I do a series called Raw Footage where I just set the camera up and I just do my bit of gardening, and they seem far more popular than the things I've spent 2 or 3 days on.
you can't. I mean, the crazy thing is, I think the rule is you can't win.
There's just no sense to it.
There is no sense to it. And I mean, I made a series of documentaries ages ago before the more recent stuff, and they were taking me 3 months, and I would write a script. I'd start with the research, do the research, write a vague script. I would go and visit the places that I wanted to film in, because you're doing a recce to see. Well, there was a number of things. Are there aeroplanes flying overhead? Are there loos nearby? I mean, I was just going through the television, the sort of what you would do on a location manager would do.
And also, is somebody going to pinch the camera while you've set the camera up,
yes.
and then you've run back down the lane?
Oh,
and there's always that thought that you'll turn around and the camera's gone.
I know. That never goes away. And when you see anybody who walks quite a distance from the camera, I am thinking, my God, you're brave. Because I tend not to go too far.
I'm currently filming a series where I'm walking around through the London Loop, which is a 150-mile trek from through one end of through London, and it takes you in a sort of a circular motion, so that you end up. But there's like 26 sections, and people said to me, "Why did it take you 10 hours just to sort of walk 4 miles? It doesn't seem to realise you've got to put the camera up, then walk back, and then sit there for 20 minutes because every plane and somebody on a bike wants to pass." And
yes. Oh God, your outtakes must be as bad as my unpublished yours. I'm cursing, and just set it up, and then and you're in the middle of a path, as I was the other day, and I want to do a long lens shot, and so I know I'm going to be right down there, and I'm just walking on this shot where it's compressed it up, and it looks very nice, and then there's a couple coming down the road, and they want to, of course now it's social distancing, they won't even walk past you. You've got to move everything off the path and creep into the bushes. And you're just like, oh, how long is this going to take? But you do it because we're mad.
But the one thing I've picked up on this week is the planes are starting to fly over.
Yes, that's true. I had a helicopter the other day, and that was like everything else is set, and it's like, oh, there's a sodding helicopter. And then you're waiting for that. And because, the thing is, though, if you've worked in television, all these, or in any sort of professional filmmaking, all these things are in your mind as things that are relatively important. Whereas I think people who have never done that and they've picked up a camera and they point and shoot, I think A, they don't know all the different nuances that we're talking about, and B, they don't really care either. And it's true, I think the audience don't overly care, and as you just so eloquently said, that the numbers of people watching something which is raw rather than well put together is soul destroying in some ways, but in other ways it's you are still getting views, but why so So here's a question for you then, Sean. Why go to the trouble of spending 10 hours to do a 4-mile walk than walking with a GoPro and just, waffling and talking as you go and shoving that up?
Because for me, I had a job interview for the BBC, and I put up a few videos on that basis. Just get the camera and just go.
Mm.
And people in TV are rather stupid in the sense that, say, for example, now somebody on Coronation Street, they had to sing a song at the bar. So they sang it with all the keys all over the place. And the actor the next day he had all his bookings cancelled. and I had a similar situation where the BBC saw my last 2 or 3 videos and they said, "Oh no, we've changed our minds."
Really?
And it's like, but if you go back and see everything else, then you will see that I've spent time and
yes.
I'm actually going back to make my videos far more like TV now. Because it took quite a while to try and desensitize myself so that I made it more as a YouTube video.
Mm.
But yes, there's been situations where I wish I wasn't a perfectionist. Where you're sat down, you're talking about, right, you put this seed into put the seed into the pot and everything. The next thing, a plane flies over. So you think, right, okay, I'll just wait for this plane to go. Then a police car goes past. And then, okay, well, I'll just wait for that. My allotment is next door to the railway track. So the train goes past. So just about to stop. And then the train goes past in the opposite direction.
Yes, of course,
I picked up the pot with the seeds and I threw it. I had enough.
I don't mean to laugh, but I know exactly what you mean, and it is infuriating. But I think there is something that even at the back of my head that it does say that quality rises. It's like the cream rises to the top. That anybody, and especially now they've made GoPros with stabilization in. Before you could get away with things if you didn't have it shaky. But now shaky's gone. Nobody does shaky stuff because the technology is taken away.
I've been on the plot today, and I can't believe it, but I've actually gone to the extent of buying what you call it? I've been on the TV for such a dolly and a track. Now, what's all that about?
I love it.
I've been trying to set up tracks on the plot that can stay there, that I can just put it on.
Right.
And then halfway through, I suddenly thought, why the hell am I doing this for only £8.50 a week?
Yeah. Next, you'll have a jib arm. And
I've already got a drone.
I've got a drone. You don't need a jib arm, then. That's true.
But no, the problem is, I bought the drone, then I took the allotment on, and then discovered I can't fly it because I'm too close to the railway.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. So a jib arm will be in. Gosh.
And then I set up a camera this morning to time lapse the sunrise. The camera arrived from China yesterday. I set it up onto the plot. Went to go and have a cup of tea. Bang! The thing went up in smoke.
It went up in smoke.
The camera went up in smoke.
Oh my God! Clearly, was it? I hope it was a cheapish camera.
Well, it was a camera that they had sent to me to do a review on.
No. Oh, I hope you filmed it smoking.
I did. So
this is a camera. It's on 20 a day.
First about putting that out.
Oh gosh. The trials and tribulation. Why do we do? As you say, why do we do it? But there's just something in you that makes you want to do it.
Well, what's been quite interesting is you go to anybody in this country in a TV sense and say, I have a relatively successful channel, and they just look at you as if you're some 15-year-old kid in his bedroom. Whereas you go to the United States and they get it.
Yes.
And what's been interesting since the lockdown is all of a sudden now they are starting to turn to YouTubers. So I had a call from Gardener's World saying, please can you submit some footage for us doing a hint and tip. So I filmed it, sent it in to Professional. Don't come to a professional if you don't want a professional film.
Oh, it's yeah.
Well, that's going on the top of the CV. Too professional.
Too professional.
For the BBC. That's why I'm at ITV.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. But you're so right about the TV industry is very snooty and odd. And the thing is, I think I relish the production values and making it look right. And also, I think that people have been, the generation that I'm pitching my stuff, my audience, my intended audience, are people who are used to watching television. And so I want to emulate the style and the production values because it will just give it a certain familiarity.
Well, what was quite funny is I came to your channel after the lockdown started.
Oh, right.
So when you started putting out the videos you've done this week, I sort of thought, oh, it's quite good. Because I've only ever seen you with a GoPro walking down the street,
yes.
walking down the street. And then all of a sudden I thought,
oh.
I've pressed the subscribe button here, put a thumbs up. And if I had any money, I'd go to Patreon, but I don't.
No, don't worry. Oh, that's so interesting because during lockdown, I wanted to make stuff, but of course, everyone's going, you shouldn't be out. And it's like, well, I'm out, but I'm exercising and I'm holding a camera. I'm not taking a massive crew with me or anything.
Yes, I made a video talking about my thoughts of the lockdown and that how I was going to go to my plot. And I lost about 28 people.
Really?
And it was at that point, because when I started, there was only me and two other people, because I've been doing it for about 12 years. There was just me and two other people. And I did feel like sort of a celebrity. And then over time, it seemed to be that if you took on a plot, you had to have a channel. and then thousands of channels appeared.
Yes.
And in the last couple of months, I've come to the realization that I was trying to play to the audience in the sense that I had to do a video for what the audience wanted. So in the lockdown diary that I did, I just said, I'm going to go to my plot. And that's when since then, so it's only been about 2 or 3 months, I've actually enjoyed the process far more. That I just put up what I want to put up, and if you don't want to watch it, well, sod off.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's where I need to get myself to that point. I worry too much about what people think, and I worry about trying to get stuff up every day. And I think that's probably stupid. But
I don't know. I've done it every day about 3 years ago, and I did it for a month, and I got to the point where I woke up and I was thinking, what can I do for a video rather than what do I need to do for my life? And that's when I thought it's time to stop.
Yes, that's true. I mean, it is it definitely is my life. But I haven't got to the point where, you see, if I wasn't doing this, I would have no idea what I would do.
Yes.
So I can't stop because
there's been if anybody is in here that has watched my channel, every August I usually have a breakdown.
Do you?
Where I just sort of think, right, I don't know what I'm doing and where I'm going to go. So I'll say to the viewer, right, I'm going to stop for a while, and then 4 days later I'm back. I just wish I was financially secure that I could say I'm having a year off and just go. But it's strange. It's addictive.
Mm.
And I don't know what else I would do if I didn't have it. But what was interesting was last July, I woke up and my channel had gone.
It had gone?
Yes. somebody had complained about a comment that I'd put, and the channel just went overnight, gone. And weirdly enough, I found the pressure just went off my shoulders within a second.
How did you get it back, though?
And then I realised that my income had gone.
Yes.
So I thought, right, I'm going to get this back.
Yes.
So I basically just emailed everybody that I had on my contacts list, because once you get over 20,000 and then 30,000, you start actually speaking to a person. So I had an email trail, and I just emailed them every hour for about a week. And in the end, they said, we've had a look into it. We can't really tell you what happened, but we're giving you the channel back.
Gosh. It is a worry that it's a worry at the back of your head, because, as you say, if your channel goes, that's it.
Yes.
And you've worked so hard, and you put in all those hours.
Patreon to fall back on. It's like Patreon for me. I just can't. I am going to restart my Patreon up, but I need to approach it with a different mindset, because I just find it's a layer of work that I haven't got headspace for. But I need to find. And this is why I say Britain and the US is completely different. There's a channel that I watch called Trout and Coffee, and he makes most of his income from the Patreon, but he does extra videos. He will like send you postcards or through pictures. He's got his mother putting bags together, and they send out these goodie bags. And I just think I'm exhausted just thinking about it. I'll send you a postcard, and that's enough. But I don't think that's worth £8 a month.
No, that's true. Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to go, because somebody else is bound to phone in.
Yes. Well, I've got some videos I ought to show, because people will be upset.
My cup of tea's gone cold. Anyway.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But I'm the one that is sending you the rhubarb.
Oh, are you? Oh, fantastic! I'm looking forward to yes, that's very kind of you. I will look.
Have a suck on that when it turns up.
Anyway. Yes, I will. Thank you very much, Sean.
Speak to you soon.
Talk to you again. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, there we go. The inimitable Sean there with his... sorry, that did go on a bit, but it was fascinating to talk to another YouTuber who's also been in television. That was just a strange world. And yes, if your channel disappears, it's what do you do? And you've got to kind of remember that, which is why you've got to be very careful. What one does. Am I right in thinking Richard's actually not on Patreon, but has a Patreon system throughout his website? So one idea, we will get onto the videos. I'm sorry about the delay in that today. Let me just explain quickly. I have Patreon. I've gone off Patreon as a thing to use because when people support you on Patreon take a fee. Then it goes through PayPal to get to me, and PayPal take part of it. And now I've understand they're going to put a tax on it as well. So there's three chunks of... So if you give... Let's say you gave $1 or £1 a month. By the time it gets to me, it's probably 20p. So I just... you've got to use somebody. So I use PayPal. So it's only whatever it is, I think it's 4% they take. So if it's £1, I get 96p rather than, I think it's 4.3 actually percent, but whatever it is, I get 95p, let's say, for every pound, rather than the Patreon system. And also, unlike the Patreon system that tried to encourage you to, as Sean said, do separate videos and do all this and all these extra things, I don't do any of that. I just don't do it. Because there isn't enough hours in the day. All I say, I do the Naked Englishman podcast, which is the only exclusive thing really that my Patreons get, which is just a a simple podcast, which is anybody who gets it knows what it is, but I just literally record myself and my thoughts and stuff, and sometimes it may be a bit off topic, and sometimes it's very personal, sometimes it's a rant, and sometimes it's just very dull, and I do that every day, and that doesn't take very long. But the reason I mean, and I know that in theory, you know, the rule is that you should be doing more for the patrons, but I just say I will work my dog's knackers off making the videos. Hence doing as many of these live shows and the readings and going out and making the videos and saying, basically, you're supporting me to just make this entertainment. If you like it, I will just keep doing it. And that's why I don't do one a week. And I get barely anything really from the adverts, and it's the patrons who support. Without the patrons, I would not be able to exist. The one thing that's in my favour, and I don't know whether Sean's in that situation, is I have paid off my mortgage. And that's the only way I can do this, is because I don't have the mortgage. And my son pays me rent. So I don't want him to leave. Although sometimes I wish they weren't here, so I had the house to myself, but I don't want them to leave because they pay me rent. So at the moment, you know, it's a pipe dream that I'm trying to do. And all the time I'm young and healthy and what have you, I'm just going for it because it's growing and it seems that people like it. And that's why I want to make it better and better, and I think the production values are important. Let's forget about that for a moment. We'll have a look at the comments in a minute, but let's get to some of the videos. Otherwise, nothing will happen. So let us start with Barry and Faden, who have been to Donington Park, Donington Castle, if my memory is correct. Let's see what they've been up to.
Today we are at Donington Castle.
We are. It's near Newbury in Berkshire. It was originally built in 1287 as a manor house, and then 100 years later it was then they were given permission to turn it into a castle. It's on a hill. It's got a lot of history, especially Civil War history, even though it's a lot older than that. It's said that King Henry VIII had stayed here, and also later on Elizabeth I had also stayed here. It's been an important castle in a few battles in history, and we'll show you some more when we get up to it.
We're at the gatehouse, and this is the only bit that still stands.
Yes, this is, as he said, the gatehouse. It's 2 towers. I'll show you a bit more of it. It is. The ruins you see today were ruined because of the English Civil War. It was mostly standing in the 1600s, but eventually it was basically destroyed by the parliamentarians. The building was built by Sir Richard Aberbury, and his family connections stood with it for many hundreds of years.
This is also a crumbled tower. There's also one a little bit over there that looks a bit more like ruins. It's just that I'm saying like that's more crumbled than this one.
Yeah, I think there were 4 towers in all, and then you include the 2 towers of the gatehouse. Show you this part just below the castle. You have the ramparts, the defensive ramparts that were built in the Civil War to protect the castle. It didn't work because it got destroyed. You can't really see them in these videos, but it's like raised ground, and there are long circular ditches around the castle to make it harder for people to get in.
How about that? There we are, Donington Castle, the travelling duo doing their thing. Marvellous. Those walls are so thick, aren't they? You can imagine trying to heat a place like that. Must be an absolute nightmare. Well done, guys. Sorry I didn't show that yesterday. Very nearly didn't show it today. But no, we've got through it. We've got through it, and it was wonderful to see it. And, you know, it was lovely to see the blue sky as well, because when I was trying to go out filming this morning, it was grey and windy, and it was, I mean, it did get sunny, but by golly, it was being windy. It would have been a complete waste of a day trying to battle with that. But lovely to see your work, and you always surprise me where you manage to find all these places. I mean, obviously they're around, so that's been great. Let's go straight into another one, because time is now against us, and I'm reading the comments at the same time because I've already seen these. So and when they go out, for some reason I don't get to hear them, so it's a bit of a shame. Let's catch up with Mr. Croser. Now I hope this is the second in 3 videos that he's sent in. I hope I've got these in the right order, Robert. This is Robert Croser up there in Cumbria.
Hello again, Vobenauts. This is part 2. And what a view. Can you see what I'm seeing? Little rowing boat there. Those are the famous red cliffs, what Rotcliffe gets its name from. I'm just going to pan over slowly. That's a gorgeous River Eden, a tidal river. Certain times of the year and certain times of the day, I've been told the seals come along here, and there's certainly otters, because I've seen and filmed them. It is a bit windy, but it's not that windy that I can't show it, that you can't hear me. If I pan along there, you just might be able to make out caves in the sandstone cliffs. Now, Rotcliffe was quite famous for smuggling brandy, salt, I think tea as well, because the Solway Firth is there. He's about 2 miles down there, downriver, and boats used to come in here because it is a tidal river. And there used to be a jetty here where they would unload, and excisemen never caught them, but I know that the excisemen were probably bribed quite a bit of money back then. I'm just going to move slowly around and you can see the flow of the river. Right, that is going down towards Carlisle and the source of the river high up in the Malastang in the Eden Valley. Now I've been there, took photographs, I think I may have filmed there, but I can't remember, but I will do again. I'm just going to pan round again slowly. Just look at that, isn't it beautiful? It's the birds. There's a few sand martins flying around there, dipping in, looking for flies and what have you. Small crustaceans. There's the famous red cliffs. I'm going to pan round. You can look at my ugly mug. Isn't it beautiful here? I'm so privileged to live here. This is unreal. So I'm going to just look at some of those villas. Now they're very expensive. I don't live in one of them, sadly. Imagine the view in the morning when you get up. I'm going to walk up the beach here and give you a closer look towards the village. And there we are. There's the church there, high on the hill, with its indestructible spire. There's some houses there. I believe one of them used to be a pub at one point. I'm not sure which one. We do have a pub here, the Crown and Thistle. And you can just see that strange sculpture. That's one of the Eden sculptures. There's about 10 of them up the Eden. This is the last one before we reach the sea, Solway Firth. I'm just going to pan round again. Just give you another shot. There's some neighbours there on the village green there. Lovely old fir tree there. I'm not sure what kind. I'm sure somebody will tell me. I believe that is a copper beach. There in the middle. There we are. This is the end of part 2. So let's pan around once more and just see for yourselves. Part 3 coming up soon when I go further down to where I live, down to the river itself. So I will say ta-ta for now. Ta-ta for now. Oh, bad gimbal work there.
There we go. Robert Croser in his element. Shame we didn't take the boat out. That would have been nice. But lovely, lovely part of the world. Looking forward to getting back up there as soon as one is allowed to come up into Cumbria. We've all been told we're not allowed to go in there because it's a hot spot for the you-know-what. Let's not talk about that. I think what we could do with is just a little natural break for a moment. A little bit of air further south, maybe up there towards Birmingham. Yes, I think Adrian from TurboStream has just the perfect location for a bit of calm and peace. There we are. We're all chilled out. Thank you, Adrian. Lovely to see a bit of calm and peace. But how recent was that? Were the bluebells still going? Is that quite recent? It's amazing if it is. Beautiful flowers there. I'm sure Andrew Norris was able to tick them off, each one. I would love to be able to know the names of the wild plants. I'm trying to learn, just trying to learn too much. Trying to learn, buy all these books to learn things. And in the end, don't get to read them because I'm too busy going from one book to another. Oh, books. Hey, there's a good lead in. Now, this will make you... Peter Lowry was on the show, last week, I think it was, with his collection of old books. That was absolutely fantastic. But you've seen nothing until you've seen these wonderful boys' books from the old days.
Hello, everyone. I've just bought these 11 books, Schoolboy's Own Library. They're from 1937 to 1940. Now, there's some really good stories in these. The way they're written as well. Well, they're written by Frank Richards, who wrote the Billy Bunter stories. And, well, they do include Billy Bunter and all his friends, but the way they're written is really good. I really like how things were written in those days. Everybody was so well-mannered and appropriate, yet at the same time, they were completely unpolitically correct, which really makes these books interesting. And each one had a picture on the cover, which is really what the sort of story's about. And inside and the back, they had adverts for other old books. Here, Captain Justice versus the Insect Army. There's Captain Justice, and they had old drawings like that. And there's, carrying on with them, Billy Bunter out hiking on that one. Schoolboy Forger. And all these, the man from the sky, somebody comes down in a parachute. And then again, still advertising different books on the back. They were all about 95 pages long, but they're good to read. I really do like reading these books. And also, I've got it's a reprint of a Magnet magazine from 1908. There again, included Billy Bunter and all his friends, but some of the adverts that are in these books, like here, you've got an old vintage box camera for £2.02, a pocket watch for £2.02, an air rifle for 10 and 6, and all different diagrams and stories. And this is a reprint, but it is the actual original magazine was what it's got, June the 6th, 1908, which is 112 years ago, isn't it? Anyway, hope you like the books. Bye.
Isn't that amazing, Peter? That is so interesting. Please send in, make some more videos of your book collection. That is just astounding. I'd love to. I mean, I like books. Obviously, I like books. Mine are all sort of history, landscape, nature, and oh, hello, the phone's going. That sort of thing. But so interesting. If only it's just another world, isn't it? When kids would read and read voraciously. Is that the word I'm looking for? Would read a lot. Voraciously, not ferociously, but anyway, they would read. They would read a lot, and beautiful pictures, those old line drawings. I mean, I know I'm harking back. Show that to kids these days, they'd go, yeah, whatever. But an amazing and fourpence. I was trying to work out how many you had. It looked about 10 of them splayed out, so like 40p. Or was there 48p or something? And what was the inside there? Daisy rifle or something, or Daisy automatic gun, and your very own moustache. I love that. You could send off. Send off. I've just sent off for my very own moustache. How absolutely charming. Just so charming. So wonderful. I love it. I love it. I'd love to see more. Peter, that was just very special. Thank you very much indeed for that. We just got time for one more film. I know it's 9:30, but let's break a rule tonight, shall we? The last of our bunch. Thank you so much for sending these in. I'm just and I'm sorry that I've whistled through them in the end, but I did want to show all our contributors stuff. Very important that we do that. And so this is our moment of Murphy, ladies and gentlemen. We saved our moment of Murphy at the end, and you may remember that our Murphy, Andrew Murphy, has a sister, and she rang in the other day, and it was very lovely to hear her. Well, the pair of them are out in our special moment of Murphy.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another Moment of Murphy with me, Andrew Murphy. Today it is Wednesday the 6th of May 2020 and I brought my sister along, Catherine. Hello! Today we are walking down Fisher's Hill in Fareham on our way towards Titchfield Abbey and Titchfield.
So here we are at the Orangery Bridge, which is commonly named after Margaret of Anjou, who married Henry VI in the 15th century.
We have now just crossed over Mill Lane, right down the bottom of Fisher's Hill. Me and my sister Catherine are outside Titchfield Abbey.
Hello Richard. Titchfield Abbey is a site that you've been to. It is a pre-monasterian monastery which was presided over by the Earls of Southampton.
Arrived down in Titchfield and we are stood outside St Peter's Church in the centre of the village.
As for my A-level of archaeology, I had to do a building survey and I chose to do on this church, and I found out a wealth of information about it, including that the very porch which the steeple is on top of actually is of Anglo-Saxon descent and comes from the 9th century AD, and there is a line of orange Roman pottery, which I think is very exciting. Roman tile. It's very
End our walk here along the Titchfield Canal. We would just like to thank you for your company. Until next time, bye for now.
Ta-da! Hey, I remember when the lovely Julia and I went round there. Seems so long ago now, and I think it was towards the end of last year or earlier this year when we went round Titchfield. Beautiful, beautiful village, and lovely to see it from a different perspective. Thank you so much, Andy. That was very kind. And look forward to the next one. Always bouncy, bouncy. That's what we like from you. So always look forward to our moment of Murphy. Unfortunately, our moment of Vobesy has come to an end because that's the nature of the beast. But we will be back. You and I will be back on Monday. Look forward to that. 8 o'clock, usual time. I'll have a video for you tomorrow and probably Sunday as well, knowing what I'm like. So thank you so much, everyone, for all your contributions. I'm sorry the show panned out the way, but lovely to talk to you, Fran. Lovely to talk to you, Sean, on the phones. Don't let me ramble at the beginning. When the phone line's open, get your phone's calls in early. Otherwise, I'll just spout a load of old nonsense, which I hope is entertaining, but maybe it isn't. But anyway, have a great weekend. Wonderful to see you. Thank you so much. So lovely to be there. And thanks for all your messages and the comments and all of that. Keep it all coming. And we'll catch up with you next week. Have a great weekend. Bank holiday weekend. Aren't we all having a bank holiday every day at the moment? Or are some of us back to work? Oh, yes, some of us have gone back to work. That's very true. Well, look after yourselves. It's been great fun. I'll see you on the next one. Till the next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Well, that show just seemed to go so quickly. I don't know what happened. Eric, you'll have to archive it fast.
That's right, sir. Don't worry, sir. I'll be straight on it, sir.
Good man.